Hello and welcome to my review of the Warhammer Plus exclusive miniature, the Officio Assassinorum Operative Umbral-six, or Vindicare Assassin as he's formerly known, for Warhammer 40,000 from Games Workshop. Now this model has been a long time coming. It's part of the Warhammer Plus subscription from last year. If you subscribed last year, you had to wait a whole year to have the opportunity of either picking this model or the Orruk Warboss model for Age of Sigmar for free. So this model was free, or the Orruk was free, or if you pick the Orruk was free as part of your subscription. Now if you pick the Orruk, you still have the opportunity to purchase this model for £26 and vice versa. Now I picked this model for free. I will be picking up the Orruk at some point. I do think that £26 is a large amount of money for the Orruk, at least. Maybe not so much for this assassin, but that being said, it is a £26 miniature on top of your yearly subscription. So if you purchase the whole year's subscription for £40, that means that the subscription only costs you £14, but then they also gave you a £10 voucher, let's not forget. So the whole subscription cost you £4 for the year. That's less than 40p a month. And I think it's been worth that amount of money, given the fact that you can also buy the Orruk separately for 26, and I've seen them go for 40, £50. I've seen these assassins go for £70 on eBay. It's quite a good deal, I think, when you look at it that way. What they're also doing now though, for year 2 of Warhammer Plus, is instead of making you wait a whole year for that miniature, if you subscribe within August, then not only are you getting that £10 voucher, you're also getting the miniature, or miniatures, because both of the sets of miniatures look awesome this time, within a month, which is fantastic. Now, I don't know how it pans out if you purchase a full £40 year subscription, get your miniature within the month, and then cancel it. I don't think you'll get a refund for that £40, or if they do offer you a refund, you probably have to send the miniature back, or it's on receipt of that miniature, something like that. I'm not sure, but you know, that's up to them to sort that out. After that preamble, the format of this review is as always, I'll have a closer look. We'll take a closer look at the assassin. There are no spare parts, so there's no spare parts to look at. Then we'll go through some size comparisons, and it is a Officio Assassinorum special today. I've scoured the galaxy far and wide to find these assassins and inquisitors and things, so we'll look at the size comparisons there. Then I will go through all of his 9th edition rules. Speaking of which, I wish that they did bring out some kind of book, I don't know, Astra Militarum or something, or some kind of Demon Hunters Codex for 9th edition that has all of these assassins rules in. It's long overdue, definitely. It's been over 2 years, hasn't it? So let's have a look at the miniature itself. Really straightforward to put together. Didn't have really any issues. There's a few mold lines in places, but it goes together extremely well. I wasn't expecting it to go together this well. The one thing I will say though is, unfortunately, the assassin is kind of sculpted onto the support beams. So what that means is, for me to now paint this, it's going to be incredibly difficult. You're best off leaving these two stone parts off, and then painting the assassin, and then you know, painting them separately if you want to do them, you know, paint them in the same kind of like stonework as Games Workshop have, and then gluing them on there. So of course I have built this model for the review today, but I would suggest that you take your time and paint the part separately and then put it together. The base is a bit odd, this 32mm base. I was kind of hoping for a 40mm, that would have made more sense, but yeah, you know, at the end of the day it is an infantry unit, I guess, so they wanted to reflect that in the base, but it just looks a bit odd on that small base. I mean, if you've got 40mm bases around, you can obviously just swap it. But there's plenty of detail on the Assassin. You know, he's got his Exitus pistol. The Exitus rifle is looking better than it ever has. It looks fantastic. The stealth suit looks brilliant. Yeah, you can't really ask for much more. He's in a really cool position there on this Sisters Battle monument. It reminds me of the Sisters Battle like scenic piece as well. So yeah, plenty of detail. Looks like a really cool miniature. I like it. It's yeah, fantastic. Worth a year's wait? I don't know. Your mileage may vary. It depends how much you like the model. It comes in this really cool box though, which shows some details there. I don't know whether they glued this part on, because look, they've got him sort of separate. But a lot of the commemorative series miniatures come in these boxes, you know, such as the Terminator Chaplain, for instance, and the Sergeant Castus, like Doom Guy. I mean, yeah, they're really cool boxes and well worth keeping, possibly. It's up to you. So, spare parts then. There are no spare parts, but what I will show you is the little instruction guide, which is obviously in the unboxing. And then it's got some rules here. So some shortened rules, showcases, you know, movement speed, 7 inches, weapon skill 2+, ballistic skill 2+, strength, toughness, 5 wounds apparently, 5 attacks, 9 leadership, and a 6+ save, but it doesn't go into obviously the invulnerable saves and things. You've got the weapons that it's got. So this is the Exitus rifle. Looks like it's a heavy one-shot. Only strength 5, AP -3 and damage D3, and then the pistol, which is of course, you know, AP -3 as well. So that's pretty decent. And then you've got grenades as well. So yeah, not massive amount of rules. I wasn't really expecting more for the rules, because this is the format for them to put rules in now, to avoid, you know, masses and masses of paper in different languages. It's just the way they operate. But what I will go through now is the size comparisons before we get too deep in the rules. So firstly, I've got a couple of Vindicare Assassins. So this is really old school one from like the 90s, I think. I don't know why, but I went through a phase of like dry brushing grey on the stealth suits and things, which looks a bit odd. It's very paint by numbers, no highlighting, really no shading. You know, even if I dunk this in null oil, it probably look like Buzz Lightyear. I don't know, but yeah, I like this Assassin. I don't know why I picked this one over the one aiming, but I did. And if anybody's sort of old enough, you can remember getting the Assassin's codex, actual codex. I know it was only like 6 or 8 pages or so, free with a white dwarf, back when white dwarfs were like £3.50. But yeah, that's what really got me into Assassins. I didn't collect all of them. I only got another one, and then I bought another one off a friend, but that's that one. And then in the Execution Force box set, I picked up all the plastic Assassins, and this is their version of the Vindicare. Looks all right. You know, if you can get away from the clown shoes. I mean, his feet are absolutely huge, well out of proportion. But other than that, looks all right. However, the upgrade is now this model. Look at that Exitus rifle compared to it. The silencer on that, the length of it, it just looks incredible. Such an improvement over what we've had before. You know, there's so many improvements actually on the model as well. But yeah, different placements of the blade. Yeah, the blade is down there on his leg. But yeah, that's just a comparison I wanted to make with the other Vindicare Assassins. I've brought out all of the Assassins today. So we've got everything from the Calidus and the Calexus. There's Calidus, obviously. Then the Eversaw. and then another Eversaw, plastic Eversaw. So that's a nice little collection of assassins. Obviously I don't have the Reflexes in metal, and likewise I don't have the second version of the Vindicare. I'm not sure if there are two other versions of these two in metal, but there certainly was two versions of the Vindicare. So now I have 3 Vindicare Assassins. I have a full execution force, and what a better to use the full execution force than with an Inquisitor, an old Inquisitor from the Demon Hunters. You can tell when my models are really old because they're on small 25mm bases and they're just green flocked, goblin green bases. I've also got another Inquisitor as well, Eisenhorn, classic. Yeah, fantastic. So there's just something about Inquisitors and Assassins and things I really like. Comparing him to sort of standard models, here is a Contempt of Dreadnaught. You might be familiar with the Contempt of Dreadnaught now if you're getting into Horus Heresy. But he's, you know, a fair bit taller than a Contempt of Dreadnaught, sort of model-wise. Compared to a Rhino, let's just put a Rhino there. Yeah, fair bit taller than a Rhino. And then if we really want to compare him, because I'm doing the review of the Spartan as well today, here is a Spartan tank. So even taller than a Spartan tank. But I just thought I'd make those comparisons because I've got them nearby. The final little comparison I'd like to make is just with a few other Warhammer 40k miniatures. We've got the Intercessor there, normal Space Marine, and Sly Marbo. If we just compare it to normal Space Marine, probably best there. It's pretty much the same height, really, as a normal Space Marine. Sly Marbo, he is, yeah, a bit taller too, obviously. And then an Intercessor. Intercessor is, I'd say just a bit taller, but yeah, that's where it stands. I mean, this is the thing, if you're going to be using this Vindicare Assassin in your games for 40k, he's either going to stand out if he's in an open battlefield and, you know, that's the only piece of scenery, or he's going to blend in really well in like a cityscape gaming board, which I'd love to get at some point, and I think that's where he would shine. Definitely on top of a building, because it's kind of like a monument on top of a building or something. That would work really well, and plus that'd give him a better kind of height line of sight thing going on, which would complement the model. So although he doesn't have specific 9th edition rules, there have been a points update and power rating update following on from the Psychic Awakening War of the Spider book, which was of course 8th edition, and that was updated February of this year. So the Vindicare Assassin is a power points cost of a 5 and a points cost of 100. That's one of the draws for me when I picked a Vindicare Assassin. I think in my Space Marine force I normally picked Vindicare Assassin as a go-to, just so that I could take out you know, sergeants with power fists, or have a pop at you know, characters. I could single them out from range, and the Assassin, you know, survived quite a while, and you know, typically made up its points cost because it could just sit at the back and fire the sniper rifle. It is an elite choice, and its movement speed is 7 inches, weapon skill and ballistic skill both 2+, strength 4, toughness 4, 5 wounds, 5 attacks, leadership 9, and a save of 6+. It specifically says base is 32mm. I mean, obviously I've got the older Assassins which are on 25s. A Vindicare Assassin is a single model equipped with an Exitus pistol, Exitus rifle, and blind grenades. So the Exitus rifle, which is its main weapon, it's a 72-inch range, heavy one-shot, strength 5, AP -3, damage D3. But when resolving an attack made with this weapon, an invulnerable saving throw cannot be made. Attacks made with this weapon wound infantry units on a 2+. So that negates that it being a strength 5. Okay, so you're going to have 2 pluses to hit, 2 pluses to wound on infantry, and then it's AP -3. So that means that your normal sort of Space Marine is still getting a save of 6, so are sergeants and things like that. So Terminators are going to be getting their save of 5+. So even if they're in Cataphracti, they're not going to be able to get their invulnerable 4+. So just bear that in mind. Even though it's only AP -3, you know, it is 2+ to hit and 2+ to wound, and it is that 72-inch range, and he does have a few abilities that buff this, and I'll talk about those in a moment. The Exeter's pistol, it's kind of just a pistol version of the rifle really. It's a range 12-inch, pistol 1, strength 4, AP -3 again, damage D3, invulnerable saving throws cannot be made again, and it wounds infantry on a 2+. So yeah. Blind grenades, it's a 12-inch, grenade D6, it's a blast weapon. It doesn't inflict any damage, but if they're hit by blind grenades, you subtract 1 from all hit rolls made for attacks made by that unit until the end of the turn, which could be useful. Abilities then. So it's got Agent of the Imperium, Execution Force, Independent Operative, and Lightning Reflexes. So Agent of the Imperium just means you can include 1 Agent of the Imperium unit in each Imperium, excluding Fallen, Patrol, Battalion and Brigade detachment, without those units taking up slots in those detachments. It also doesn't prevent other units from their detachment from benefiting from detachment abilities such as, you know, Chapter Tactics, Defenders of Humanity, and so on. Execution Force, if your Warlord has the Imperium keyword, excluding Fallen, you can include this unit in your army as part of a Vanguard detachment, even if that detachment contains no HQ units. Independent Operative, this model can never have a Warlord trait. You can set this model in concealment instead of placing it on the battlefield, and then at the end of your movement phases, a model can reveal its position, set it up anywhere on the battlefield more than 9 inches away from the enemy. And then Lightning Reflexes, the model has a 4+ invulnerable save. So that's pretty good. You know, it's got 5 wounds there and a 4+ invulnerable. I mean, yeah, it would be great. I mean, it's wearing a stealth suit at the end of the day, and it's got Lightning Reflexes. It's not got Terminator armor or anything like that, so you're not going to get your 2+ normal save. So, abilities unique to the Vindicare Assassin then. Deadshot. Each time you select a target for a weapon this model is making an attack, you can ignore the Lookout Sir rule, which is brilliant. In addition, on an unmodified wound roll of 6 for an attack made with an Exeter's pistol or rifle, change the damage characteristic of that weapon to D6 for that attack. That's brilliant. So on a wound of a 6, you're getting D6 damage. And I don't know whether that's for all wounds. So, you know, you've got 1 hit there, you're potentially getting 1 wound. Faultless Aim. Attacks made with ranged weapons by this model always hit on a 2+ if this model did not move this turn. Hit rolls of 6 are still required when firing Overwatch. So always on a 2+. If after resolving an attack with an Exeter's pistol or rifle by this model, a model in an enemy unit lost any wounds as a result of that attack but was not destroyed, roll 1d6. On a 3+, that model suffers 1 mortal wound, and if that model is not destroyed, you can roll 1 more d6. This time, that model suffers 1 mortal wound on a 4+. Keep rolling 1d6, increasing the result required to cause a mortal wound by 1 each time until the model in the enemy unit being rolled for is destroyed or the roll is failed. That's pretty good. So if it's lost any wounds, you know, 3+, you get another mortal wound, and then a 4+, another one, and so on. Spy Mask. When resolving an attack made with a ranged weapon by this model, the target does not receive the benefit of cover to its saving throw. So it's not getting cover, so the enemy unit is not getting cover save, it's not getting an invulnerable save. You know, there's nowhere to hide, you know, 72-inch range. You can ignore Lookout Sir rule. If you get a 6 on a wound, your damage is D6 instead of D3. It's got the headshot rule. It's got a stealth suit as well. So when resolving an attack made with a ranged weapon against this model, subtract 1 from the hit roll. If this model is on or in a terrain feature, kind of is already, subtract 2 from the hit roll instead. So really worth you putting this unit in cover, and from a long range. If you've managed to get within las cannon range using your assassin that has a 72-inch range sniper rifle, you've done something wrong there. So that's the Vindicare Assassin, a very specific use unit, 100 points. If you take out a captain or chapter master or any HQ unit that is 100 points, it's made its points cost. It used to have different rounds, like hellfire rounds and penetrating shots, things like that, which made it better at vehicles, and I would have actually liked to have seen that be applied to this assassin, maybe in the full 9th edition rules or something, where it could pinpoint, like with the game Sniper Elite for instance, it could pinpoint a specific point on a vehicle to blow it up instantly. I'm not talking about like you know, penetrating the inches thick armor of a Land Raider or anything like that. I'm talking about some key component on a Rhino or on a Chimera or something, like give it Armor Bane or something like that. It also had like toxic rounds too, so I like those rules where it had different ammunition based on the mission parameters, instead of just this one kind of like universal rule where it just focuses on characters, it seems. But there you go. That's my opinions on its sort of previous rules and what they could do in the future. What do you guys think of the Officio Assassinorum Operative Umbral-six model for Warhammer Plus? Please do put your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. It'd be great to hear from you. Thank you ever so much for joining me today. Thank you for watching. The Emperor Protects.